Dr. Johan, before we went to commercial break, one of the attractions of cryptocurrency for some is that it's not traceable, it's not really stored, it's not a traditional bank where your assets or your money is stored. But now we hear that some of the larger banks are trying to get in on cryptocurrency. Can you explain this for us, please?
Well, as it is, large companies have tried to get in. So you've got Facebook with their cryptocurrency. Alipay is huge in China. And you've got Amazon trying to get into or going into cryptocurrency. So with this decentralized idea where banks are no longer creating value or money, what the central banks are trying to think or trying to do is create their own cryptocurrency. So, it's sort of restabilizing the financial market, so to speak. So I think as it stands, there's probably about 87 countries, if I'm not mistaken, that are planning or looking into it. Canada's doing it. The US is also thinking about it or in plans. They're actually further behind than Canada. Canada's a bit ahead. They've already started looking into the regulatory issues and what have you.
So at the Bank of Canada is looking into
yes,
this, or
yes,
like the big five banks kind of thing?
Bank of Canada. The big five banks are probably setting up the infrastructure to enable it. But it has to be acknowleded as a legal currency, legal tender, right?
Right.
So the central banks are doing that. The European banks, the Bank of Japan, all the other banks are definitely have plans, or more importantly, have started to look into the infrastructure process of. The problem is it also has to be recognized around the world. So it can't just be recognized within the country. So there has to be interoperability within jurisdictions. So there's got to be international buy-in, and that's coming very soon.
Well, because there's a lot of law that would have to play into setting up the regulations and the cadre in which this has to operate. We may have lost a few viewers on just understanding where international law is, but let's say on a practical level, I'm a Canadian citizen, maybe I have some Bitcoin. Where can I use this Bitcoin? Where can I use this Ethereum? How do I use it?
Currently, you can't just go to your local money changer and get cash. Neither will the banks allow you to do that currently, but you could go online and have, sort of a barter system. So I believe in some countries it is recognized as currency, but it's not a negotiable instrument. So you can trade other currency for it, but it's not actually negotiable. As you would cash. So I could give you.
I can't go to the corner store and buy a chocolate bar with a Bitcoin. Probably a Bitcoin's worth a lot more than a chocolate bar. But.
Well, the problem is today it could be worth 60,000. Tomorrow it could be worth 10,000, or it could be worth 35,000. So as a chocolate bar owner, so what would you want to have that risk where you could have the Bitcoin, you've given up your chocolate, and tomorrow your Bitcoin could be worthless. So the volatility is so significantly high that it's right now it's not necessarily the network effects. You can't use it much. So a lot of people are buying these to store value in the expectation that in the future it will be mainstream.
So when you say it's volatile, what drives that volatility?
It's speculation. Nobody knows what's happening. And one day China could make it illegal. Another day China's opening up Alipay. So
right.
It is very volatile, and we don't know.
And we don't know how much. Do we know how much is in the system?
We don't. Researchers have tried to gather that data, but it changes significantly on an hourly basis. So we don't really know. There's no real central body recording this, and we have different platforms. Creating these indices. So you can get indices on the values of cryptos. There are companies who are collecting this information and gathering them and making them public, but there are also numerous platforms that have this. So imagine if you have a NASDAQ and an IZ and the Nigerian Stock Exchange, but there are thousands of them.